Good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'll call this meeting to order at 2 o'clock. Today, we're sitting as the Committee of Adjustment. We do have full committee members here today, as well as several staff members with us. Our soon-to-be appointed Deputy Secretary Treasurer is here with us, our CAO and our Chief Building Official, as well as our planning technician. So welcome, everyone. And it is 2:01. First order of business is to appoint our Deputy Secretary Treasurer. This in accordance with bylaw 2016-49, being the Committee of Adjustment procedural bylaw. And the committee hereby appoints Amanda Miller as Deputy Secretary Treasurer for the meeting held on July 8th. Do we need a mover and a seconder to this? I would think yes. Moved by Mark, second by Larry. Any questions or comments? All in favor? Carried. Thank you. Our next order of business is our land acknowledgement statement. The Township of Hamilton is situated within the traditional territory of the Mississauga, Anishinaabe, and Chippewa nations, collectively known as the Williams Treaties First Nations. Our work on these lands respectively acknowledges their resilience and their long-lasting contributions to the area now known as the Township of Hamilton. Amanda, I now turn to you to give the explanation of our process here today.
Great, thank you. Welcome to the Committee of Adjustment. Applications will be considered on the order that they appear on the agenda. I believe we have one application today. The applications will be announced, and today the Chief Building Official will provide an overview of the application on behalf of our Senior Planner. The meeting will be open to the public for comments and/or questions. We request that the speaker provide their name and address for the record. We will first hear from those in support of the application, then those in opposition to the application, followed by those seeking clarification, and finally the applicant. All questions must be addressed to the chairperson. If you'd like to receive a copy of the notice of decision, please do so in writing or sign the registration sheet in the lobby. Please be sure to identify the application for which you wish to receive notice. Thank you.
Thank you. Our next item of business is confirmation of the agenda. And the prepared motion is that the agenda for the Committee of Adjustment meeting held on July 8th, 2025 be approved. Moved by John, seconded by Bruce. Questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. Item 6 on our agenda. Is there any declaration of pecuniary interest today? Seeing none, that will be recorded. Item 7 on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting. Prepared motion that the minutes of the Committee of Adjustment meetings held on June 10th, 2025 be approved. Mover, please. John, seconded by Larry. Any questions or comments? All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. There is no business arising from the minutes, so we'll move on to new business. Regarding a consent application for the Glenmac Farm. And I think we all recognize that we do have 2 members of the Macklin family with us today. And we will proceed with the application. Tim, sorry, Amanda, you were going to read the report, but I realized what you said. Tim, please read the report if you would, please.
There we go. Good afternoon, Chair Jib and committee members. This application is with respect to 155700 Ontario Inc., Glenmac Farm, B0725. Relates to 2535 Theatre Road, part of lots 27 and 28, concession 2. And it is recommended that the Committee of Adjustment of the Corporation of the Township of Hamilton enacts as follows. That application B0725 by 155700 Ontario Inc. to sever a surplus farm dwelling in part of lots 27 and 28, concession 2, be approved subject to the following conditions. That a registered reference plan for the severed parcel be submitted to the township, a closed polygon vector file as described, that a draft transfer for the severed parcel be submitted to the township, that the tax account for the subject property be paid and up to date, that the zoning bylaw amendment be in effect for the severed and retained parcels pursuant to the Planning Act. The retained parcels shall be rezoned to prohibit any future residential development and prohibit livestock in the existing barn. 6, that the applicant shall lay out and dedicate to the County of Northumberland a strip of land ensuring 18.25 meters from the center line of County Road 74 along the frontage of the retained parcel for road widening purposes to the satisfaction of the County of Northumberland. The road widening must be free and clear of all encumbrances. A little bit of background associated to the application. The purpose of this application is to sever a surplus farm dwelling on a 0.6 hectare parcel of land at 2535 Theater Road in part of lots 27 and 28, concession 2. The applicant owns a number of farm properties in the township and is proposing to sever the surplus farm dwelling that is not needed for a farming operation. Description of both lots. The severed lot will have 56 meters of frontage, depth of 102 meters, and an area of 0.6 hectares. The retained parcel will have frontage of, I think it's intended to be 1461 meters, depth of 400 to 800 meters, and a total area of 113.1 hectares. The approximately 114 hectare subject property is located in the southwest quadrant of the municipality with frontage on County Road 74, Theater Road South, and Telephone Road. Highway 401 is immediately south of and parallel to Telephone Road. The property is developed with a single detached dwelling and several farm buildings, including an unoccupied livestock facility, all clustered in the southwest area of the property. A water course bisects the property, and there's a small forested area east of the building cluster. Approximately 100 hectares of the 117 hectare property is under agricultural cultivation. Surrounding land uses are a combination of agricultural properties and rural residential uses. A strip of rural residential lots have been severed along the west side of Theater Road, and Dalewood Golf Course is located west of the subject property. There are also 3 rural residential lots which were taken off the northwest corner of the subject property in 1990. Another strip of the 4 rural residential lots, 3 developed and 1 underdeveloped, are located along the southern boundary of the subject property, along with a church. A dairy farm, including livestock barns, is located at 7856 Telephone Road. The livestock barns are located approximately 1.3 kilometers from the proposed severed lot. Another unoccupied livestock barn was identified at 2454 Theater Road South, approximately 390 meters from the proposed severed lot. There are 3 commercial uses located east of the subject property on Telephone Road: Line Construction, Ontario Line Clearing, and My Broadcasting Corporation. 2 mobile home communities fronting on Telephone Road are located approximately 1 kilometer and 420 meters west of the subject property. Under the provincial planning statement, the subject property is designated agricultural and natural hazard floodplain on Schedule A to the official plan of the Township of Hamilton. Specifically, Section 431 of the provincial policy statement requires municipalities to use an agricultural system approach based on provincial guidance to maintain and enhance a geographically continuous agricultural land base and support and foster the long-term economic prosperity and productive capacity of the agri-food network. Prime agricultural areas shall be protected for long-term use for agriculture. Municipalities are required to designate and protect prime agricultural areas, including specialty crop areas. Lot creation opportunities are very limited in agricultural area, and new residential lot creation is not permitted. Section 433 of the provincial planning statement permits the creation of 1 new residential lot per farm consolidation for a residence surplus to an agricultural operation. In these cases, the severed lot needs to be kept to a minimum size required to accommodate the dwelling and private services, and the retained parcel must be rezoned to prohibit any future residential development. The applicant has other farm properties in the area and does not require the dwelling on the property and is planning to continue to farm the agricultural land. The proposed severed lot has been kept to the minimum size necessary to accommodate the existing private service and avoid a property line through the watercourse south of the dwelling. Under MDS guideline number 9, calculations were not prepared for the offsite facilities. There is an existing livestock barn on the proposed retained lot, approximately 60 meters from the on-site dwelling. An MDS calculation was prepared for this facility, resulting in a 249-meter MDS setback between the livestock facility and the dwelling. This MDS setback cannot be met, and the retained parcel should be rezoned such that a barn can only be used for dry storage and to prohibit the housing of livestock. A natural heritage evaluation was not required for this application since no new buildings or structures are proposed, and Ganaraska Region Conservation Authority commented that they have no objection, but any development within the regulated area will require a GRCA permit. The proposed severance is consistent with the policies contained with the PPS, which permits the severance of a surplus farm dwelling as a result of farm consolidation. The retained parcel must be rezoned to prohibit future residential development and also prohibit livestock in the existing livestock facility to comply with the PPS. Oak Ridges Marine, the subject property is not located within the Oak Ridges Marine. Under the Northumberland County official plan, the subject property is designated agricultural areas in the county official plan, which permits a wide range of agricultural uses. And like the PPS, the county official plan permits the severance of a surplus farm dwelling subject to the following criteria: that the new residential lot created by severance be kept to a minimum size necessary to accommodate the detached dwelling that supports appropriate sewage and water services, that the agricultural parcel created by severance prohibits any future dwellings, including additional residential unity through appropriate land use planning tools, and that a bona fide farmer demonstrates to the satisfaction of the Township of Hamilton where they own other non-abutting agricultural lands throughout the county. The application maintains the intent of the Northumberland County official plan. For the township official plan, the subject property is designated agriculture and natural hazard under Schedule A of the township official plan. Lands designated agriculture are areas which have high potential for agricultural production and were identified in cooperation with the Ministry of Agriculture, Food, and Rural Affairs. Like the PPS, the Township of Hamilton official plan permits the severance of surplus farm dwellings in agricultural designation subject to the retained parcel being rezoned to prohibit residential development. Section 7 of the Township official plan contains policies regarding natural hazards and specifically floodplains. The applicant retained Ontario land surveyor to identify the floodplain and ensure that the proposed severed lot is located outside of the flood elevation. Under the official plan, no natural heritage evaluation is required as no new building or structures are being proposed. The proposed severance complies with the policies of the township official plan. From the zoning bylaw, subject property is zoned permanent agriculture and the permitted uses, it has a number of permitted uses. The retained lot will comply. The severed lot should be rezoned. While the retained parcel complies with the permanent agricultural zone provisions, it must be rezoned to special permanent agriculture, which will prohibit the future development in accordance with the PPS, county official plan, and township official plan. And since the proposed severed dwelling is located within the required 249-meter MDS setback for on-site unoccupied livestock facility, a special permanent agriculture zone will also need to include the provision prohibiting livestock in the existing livestock facility. As far as agency circulation, Ganaraska Conservation Authority commented that a watercourse traverses the property and the watercourse, the associated floodplain, and the erosion hazard and potential wetlands are regulated by GRCA. They further commented that the submission shows that the lot is to be created outside of GRCA hazards. And GRCA also advised that the severed lands fall within the intake protection zone, which are associated with the municipal drinking water intake in the municipality of Port Hope. Since there is no new development proposed as part of the severance, source water protection is not needed this time. Should there be future development, site alteration, or land use changes be proposed, such development is subject to review from Ganaraska Conservation and Ganaraska Source Protection Plan and the Clean Water Act. GRCA has no objection to the approval of this application. Township of Hamilton Building Department has no objection. However, they request confirmation that the properties have merged, which I believe that's been provided. Township of Hamilton Public Works has no concerns. Township of Hamilton Fire has no issues with the consent to sever. And public circulation, the notice of this application was circulated to all registered owners within the 60-meter buffer. A sign was posted on the property and no public comments have been received to date. Planning analysis, the severance of surplus farm dwelling is permitted by the PPS, the Northumberland County Official Plan, the Township of Hamilton Official Plan, and the Township of Hamilton Official Plan. As required by the province and local policies, the retained parcel must be rezoned to prohibit any future residential development. The retained parcel will also have to be rezoned only to permit dry storage in the existing livestock facility. While there was a watercourse and associated floodplain and erosion hazard associated with that feature, the proposed severed lot is located outside of the flood and erosion hazard. The proposed severed lot must be rezoned to a rural residential zone, which permits a single detached dwelling on a 0.4 hectare lot with a minimum of 45 meters of frontage. No new buildings or structures are proposed at this time. If future development is contemplated, the risk management official or RMO should be contacted as the subject property is located in the intake protection zone. In conclusion, the application is consistent with the provincial planning statement and maintains the intent of both the county of Northumberland and Township of Hamilton official plans. Thank you.
Thank you, Tim. We'll go through the process, but there is one component that I'm sure our committee will be discussing, being condition number 6 on the that's set out in the planning report. Through the process, even though I don't see anyone present, I will ask, is there anyone here other than the applicants and agents in support of the application? Seeing none, I will ask, is there anyone here in opposition to the application? Seeing none. Is there anyone here seeking clarification on the application? And again, seeing none. I will turn to our owners, applicants, agents. Is there anything you would like to speak to, or would you like me to move forward with any questions that may materialize here from our committee? Please. And again, just for the record, name, address, if you would.
Drew Macklin from the town of Cobourg. Initially, when they were inquiring about where I guess really the red line is outlining the property, we reached out to the lawyers and they said, yeah, there's 3 pieces there that have amalgamated. However, we dug a little deeper and found out that they had not. So that red outline should just be limited to the immediate rectangle around the proposed severed parcel. I had notified Jennifer, I think a day after I told her that we were told they were amalgamated. So I think just the red line needs to be revised to just the rectangle around the immediate severed parcel. So just wanted to bring that to everyone's attention.
Thank you. And I don't believe that's going to affect our decision here today in
Right.
any way. It can be clarified
Mm.
as the process moves forward.
Yeah,
But thank you for that
Just wanted to let you
information.
know. Thank you.
Turning to our committee members, any questions or comments? John?
Through you, Chair. Number 6, the dedication of land to the county. This 18.25 meters, maybe reaching out to or other members, has this always been the 18.25 meters or is it less in the past?
Bruce,
I-
you've dealt with this
Yeah,
in the
I know
past
that
personally.
It was 17.5 2 years ago. 2 years ago when we did it, it was 17.5. I know that was a measurement, so it sounds like it's getting bigger and we really struggle with that measurement or with them getting anything, I think, let alone getting bigger, so.
Any follow-up, John? I'm
Well, it seems-
going to let everybody speak on this and then I'll chirp in at the end if you don't
Yeah.
mind. Please, John, anything further?
It just seems that every time anything comes to this committee dealing with Northumberland County, they seem to expand or kind of make sure that it's a little bit more than what it should be. I'm not too sure of how they can say that it's going to be 18.25 on one road and 17 on another and go those routes. I'm not too sure whether they have a policy on that or what's happening.
That was a comment rather than a question, so we'll go to Mark, if you would, please.
Just a thought behind that. I think this is maybe because of the bike lane. I'm not sure that where Bruce, when his was done, that there was probably not a bike lane in consideration, so perhaps that's why. But I would also like to say that I'm not in support of having number 6 as part of our motion of going forward for the application. So when we do need a motion, I would be more than happy to go forward and put a motion forward without having number 6 included.
Thank you. Any further questions or comments? Apparently my comments are going to be addressed. I will though turn to our applicants and say I strongly support the previous comments that item 6 should not be there. In my opinion, it's the better part of a mile away from the proposed lot being created. I am disappointed that it's there and we have to deal with it on an ongoing basis. Thank you to committee member Davison for bringing forward that it seems to be changing in size and dimension. We have dealt with this type of thing before on number 2 highway. But at the same time, if we remove condition 6, and I'm more than willing to do that, I think we should turn to our applicants, agents, owners, and simply ask, with the understanding that the county could appeal if we don't do this, would you as owners and agents be willing to accept the removal of item 6, condition 6?
I think the changing of the property dimensions also may impact the county's request. I mean, their distance from center is going to be the same. We'd be fine with removing 6 and seeing if the county.
Thank you. I'll stop you
Appeals.
there because that's all we need to
Yeah.
know at this point in time, Mr. Macklin. Committee members, is there anyone that would like to make a motion? Mark, what is your motion, please?
Yeah, I'd make a motion that we accept the application without number 6 included.
Maybe we could change the word accept with approve the
Approve,
application
yes, yes,
as reported without condition 6. Do we have a seconder for that motion? Seconded by committee member Davison. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you. We do need to provide reasons for our decision. So Mark, I'll turn to you as the mover, and John, come to you if there's anything additional.
Well, I think most of it was outlined within the application, but when we come to the municipality itself, there was no one here opposed to the application or even seeking clarification. And in fact, all we had here were the applicants that were promoting their applications. So
which means for those taking the notes, it complies with the Township Official Plan, County Official Plan, Provincial Policy Statement, and then what Mark said. Anything further, John? Thank you. That concludes our application for, I forget the number, 2025-20 being our consent application for Glen Mac Farm. As both of you know, there's some conditions there to meet as we move forward, and there is timelines on that of approximately 2 years. So thank you for being with us, and you have received provisional consent approval. Moving on to other business, there isn't any. So the next item of business is adjournment. Prepared motion is the Committee of Adjustment meeting held on July 8, 2025 be adjourned at 2:26 p.m. Moved by Mark, seconded by Larry. All those in favor? Carried. Thank you.